start doing these videos with her, I didn't really know what we would talk about because we agree on most things, but lately we've been getting into an ethical debate every single week. So this one is about something that she posted on Facebook. It was an article about marriage. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, it was a Matt Walsh article talking about how Nicholas Sparks, after 25 years of marriage, got divorced, and how there is an unrealistic expectation that you're going to meet your one soulmate and you're going to marry them. And people wait their whole lives for this, or they use it as an excuse to cheat on their current wife because they say, oh, well, I made a mistake and this new person is my real soulmate. And he was just saying that marriage requires a lot of work, and it's not a Nicholas Sparks movie.
Well, the article was mostly based on The Notebook, which is about two people that are in love and their parents don't want them to be together, and it's dramatic and everything. And I'm not necessarily saying that every love story is so dramatic like that, but I do think that you wait for that one person that you're in love with, and you, like, the main idea of most Nicholas Sparks books is that you have to wait, because it's not always going to be like the first schmuck you find and you want to marry him just because you're lonely. And I think that the main idea of the article was to say that you need to marry someone and you need to make it work, and then it said they're the one because you chose them to be the one, but I don't believe that. I believe that there's somebody for you. You need to wait, and that's not to say that marriage doesn't take hard work, but
It says, I didn't marry the one. I married this one, and we became one. So it's just really focusing on the work that's involved in marriage and the work that's involved in making it come together, and that there's not some magical formula. But I don't think you should marry a schmuck either.
But what I'm saying is that I'm not saying that marriage doesn't take work. I recognize that it is a lot of work, but I think that it's easier if you wait for somebody that is the one for you.
Do you think there's only one?
I'm not sure about that. There might be many people that are good for you, probably, because there's so many people in the world. But I think you should wait for somebody that's really compatible with you. I don't think you should marry someone and just be determined to put forth effort to make it true.
He talked about that, though. He did talk about that. He said you don't just marry anyone. You find somebody that you're pretty compatible with, that you click with. But you don't look for the soulmate. Once you marry somebody, you don't doubt that. That becomes your soulmate. That becomes your soulmate regardless of what's happened before. And I think where a lot of people argue is a lot of people will cite bad marriages. But the solution is not to get in those bad marriages to begin with, right? To do your research. So it's not a matter of not doing your research, not getting to know the person and making a bad choice. But it's just this idea that if you sit around and wait, somebody's going to come and sweep you off your feet, and it's going to be happily ever after, because it's just not.
But I think where you and I disagree is that I do believe in soulmates. Like, I do believe that God puts us on the earth, and I believe that He puts us in situational places that will find somebody that's perfect for us.
Mm-hmm. He knows who you're going to choose. He knows because He knows everything.
I think that for us, Ira and Sonia and Dad, like, they're our soulmates.
Mm-hmm.
They're not people that just came in.
Not random.
And
Definitely.
that's where I believe that soulmates are true.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe I think we might agree on more than we disagree on the article. I think you really focused on whether or not soulmates exist. And I really focused on what I feel like he was trying to say was that it requires work. To not assume that, I can't remember exactly what he said, but like you meet this person and you dance in the rain and you kiss in the rain and then like everything's perfect. Like you're going to have arguments. You're going to argue about stupid things like what night to go grocery shopping or something dumb like that. Like that's just reality. I think people have this picture of marriage is just like, well, if I married the right one, everything would be good. You're going to have disagreements, and you're going to have setbacks, and you're going to have bad things happen.
Well, I don't believe that. I recognize that marriage and that everything takes work. And honestly, not to be so cheesy, but I do believe that Nicholas Sparks' books show struggle. I mean, they show things that happen in relationships that are hard to handle. They show breakups and they show hard things. And I don't think that that's something that you can just overlook. Like, you look at Nicholas Sparks' book and you see something that's just true love and it's just cheesy and that never happens. But I think that if you don't hope for that, then you're never going to get it.
What happened to his marriage then, do you think?
Stuff happens. I don't think that it was on purpose. What do you think happened?
Well, I think if you wait for your soulmate and your soulmate comes, then divorce would never follow.
Maybe it wasn't his soulmate.
But see, that's a dangerous place to be, because you can marry somebody, say they're your soulmate, and then, you know, a clerk in the store winks at you and all of a sudden that's your soulmate.
But that's where there is a happy medium, is you believe in your soulmate and you believe that there's someone for you, but you also know that marriage takes work, and you know that you have to put in the work to reap the rewards. And that's where divorce isn't an option.
Right. So do you think people like people that do get a divorce and then end up marrying somebody else and saying that person's their soulmate, that they really did make a bad decision to begin with?
I think some people do make bad decisions. I know a lot of people that get divorced and then get remarried and they're really happy. And I think that a lot of people make a mistake when they're young. They don't know.
Maybe they should have read more Nicholas Sparks books.
I just think people need to know how they're supposed to be treated, and they need to know what they want before they get married.
What you objected to in the article was just that you like romance.
I objected to someone saying that there's no soulmate, you just make marriage work, and I just disagree with that. I mean, you know the movie Butcher's Wife, and you have yours split apart, and both marriages weren't working out, and they switched husbands, and that's a silly example, but there's somebody for you, and like, if your marriage isn't what you want it to be, and you know there's somebody that's going to make you happy, then I think that that's the main idea.
But that's a problem, because people don't make you happy, right? You can be happy with a particular person, but people don't make you happy. The only danger of that is just what you said, that somebody could leave their husband because they think they found their new soulmate. You know, that if you believe too heavily, so maybe it's a dual thing where you believe, you have the romanticism to believe that there's somebody that God made just for you. But you also stick up to your commitments, because if you believe in the sacrament of marriage, then you're going to stay with the person that you bind to.
Right.
Or yoke to, as they say. So.
Busted.
I wish you all the happiness in the world. Don't flinch when I kiss you.